Has there been a more disappointing player in fantasy this year than Jose Ramirez? I don't think so. Okay? He had back-to-back third-place finishes for the American League Most Valuable Player Award, but he has a .598 OPS through his first 48 games. All right. Not saying that the Indians would ever bench Ramirez, but they certainly have to be concerned about the quality of his play. All right? Imagine Rendon thrust into that batting order. It would give them instant improvement in offense. They're 7 games out in the division, and I think a lot of people assume Cleveland would probably make the playoffs because of their exemplary pitching staff. But the pitching staff has been injured. They've not performed. And is Rendon a possible fill-in at third for the slumping Ramirez, and allow Ramirez maybe to shift to second base? Just food for thought. Third, how about the Phillies? You're talking about a loaded team. Now, the problem with the Phillies is they're in the same division as the Nationals. You don't usually like to trade your best player to a competitor that you play 19 times a year. But Maikel Franco, although he's hit 7 home runs and ranks third on the Phillies in that category, hasn't really performed once again to the capability that they would like. All right? Now, Rendon has hit the ball well at Citizens Bank Park. He has a .874 OPS in 51 career games there. But again, it's hard to imagine a trade between those two teams. But it could happen. And so keep your eye on that one. 2 more thoughts. How about the Pirates? Now, they've been an early season surprise, I think. Haven't talked about them in the standings yet. We're going to do that in just a moment. But it's very competitive in the National League Central. Okay? The Pirates are in the mix. Jung Ho Kong has been on the injured list. Colin Moran has been underwhelming. They have a need at third base. I don't think that Ke'Bryan Hayes is ready quite yet. And with him being a probable fill-in for the rest of the year, Rendon makes a lot of sense in Pittsburgh, to me. In fact, that to me is the most glaring need, and for me, the favorite spot for him to go. Now, another team that may be interested is not that they have a need for the position, though, but they may want a seasoned veteran on their team to go with a bunch of rookies. How about the Tampa Bay Rays? In the mix, their system is deep. They could certainly make a trade. They have right now Yandy Diaz playing third and playing a really good third base, but certainly he's someone that the Rays might could pick up to add a veteran right-handed bat to that lineup. Just food for thought, and just thinking those could all be trade fits for Anthony Rendon. So as we move into looking at the National League Central, the Cubs still on top. They are 29-18. They have a 2-game lead over the Milwaukee Brewers, a 4.5-game lead over the Pirates, a 5-game lead over the St. Louis Cardinals, and an 8-game lead over the Cincinnati Redlegs. In the National League West, the Dodgers continue to reign supreme. They've played 50 games. They are 32-18. Winners of 7 of their last 10. They lead the Padres, who are 26-24, by 6 games. Now, the Padres have won 3 in a row. And I want to take a moment just to talk about the Padres because they're a very interesting team going forward. Franmil Reyes has really emerged as a power-hitting outfielder on that team. He went 2 for 4 yesterday. He's raised his average to 258. He's loaded with power. Of course, you have Machado, who went 1 for 3 yesterday. He's hitting 267 on the year. Hosmer, he's really turned it on lately, hasn't he? Hosmer went 2 for 3 yesterday, 2 RBIs. He's upped his average to 285. They're expecting Tatis Jr. back after the next road trip. I tell you the player who could be the difference maker in San Diego, and he is off to a horrible start of the season, and that's infielder Will Myers. Myers did start yesterday and go 1 for 3, but Myers is only hitting 228 on the season. It wasn't long ago, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, Myers was hitting 305. His average has bottomed out because he has. Now, should Myers be able to take a turn for the better, get back to the stats on the back of his baseball card, you get Tatis Jr. back, the Padres have the pitching. I mean, yesterday Lauer pitched, for example. 7 innings against the Diamondbacks, 4 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Okay? How about that bullpen? How about Yates? Yates has more saves than some teams have wins. He has 20 saves already. A minuscule 1.13 ERA. So the Padres have the pitching. I haven't talked about Paddock yet, who could be in the run or is in the running for Rookie of the Year in the National League. Keep your eye on the Padres when they get their players back healthy. Tatis, we'll see how things go. They're in second place right now. The Dodgers lead the Diamondbacks by 7 games. The Diamondbacks have lost 5 in a row. And we're going to talk about one of their players in just a few moments who just is not performing. The Colorado Rockies, 8.5 games out, and the San Francisco Giants, 10 games out. So now we come to a part of the show where I want to talk about players who are keep your eye on them kind of guys. All right? And let's start with talking about Lance Lynn, pitcher, Texas Ranger. New York Yankee great, Lance Lynn. How about that? Lance Lynn has really been pitching great lately. I tell you what, he's 6-3 on the season pitching in Texas. Yeah, he is. He's pitched a great game Tuesday. He won against, he won with 7 innings pitched and 11 strikeouts. Coming up on the 27th, he's at Seattle on June 1st. Can you believe we're already talking about June? On June 1st, he's home against the Royals. Lance Lynn is a pitcher. He throws a fastball primarily, spots it. He occasionally will throw an off-speed pitch, but he's a fastball pitcher, and he's found success with Texas. And if you're looking for a 5th starter, 6th starter on your fantasy team, you could do worse than Lance Lynn. Okay, how about the closer situation in Colorado? Wade Davis is injured. He has an oblique injury. And, how can you ever gauge an oblique? I mean, those things are hard to come back from. And so what the Rockies have done is they have named Scott Oberg as their closer in lieu of Wade Davis while he is out. Now, Oberg is off to a fairly decent start. The problem with Oberg, if there is one, is he's been walking batters here of late. In his last 3 2/3 innings, he has 4 walks and only 1 strikeout. Okay, that's the bad part. The good part is his overall stat line reads this way. He's won 1, struck out 13, has an ERA of 1.77 and a whip of 1.18 on the season as a holds, the number 1 holds guy in Colorado. Now he moves into the closer role. If he can keep up the 1.77 ERA and the whip, he's going to be in good shape, and he's worth a look for fantasy pickup while Wade Davis is out if you're in need of a closer. He's going to get the opportunity in Colorado, so let's keep our eye on Scott Oberg. Another pitcher to keep our eye on is Jesus Lizardo for the Oakland A's. Lizardo came into the preseason as the probable number 1 left-handed rookie prospect in all of baseball. No kidding. And while the A's were opening the season in Japan, Lizardo reported to have shoulder problems, so they shut him down, sent him back to Arizona. Well, this coming Saturday, Susan Schlusser of the San Francisco Chronicle reports that Lizardo will throw to live hitters. And so going from there, it may only be a few weeks until he has completed what would be his version of spring training and could be back in mid-June. Okay? Now, certainly he is a look to before the All-Star break in mid-July. But if you are a stasher of pitchers and Jesus Lizardo of the Oakland A's is available, go get him. Yeah, go get him now. And the thing is, I told you earlier, the A's, since Matt Olson has returned to that lineup, the Oakland A's have been on fire, okay? And I don't know that it's directly attributable to Olson. I just know since he's been back, they've been winning baseball games. And Olson, while we're on that subject, in his last 12 at-bats, he's 5 for 12 with a homer, 3 runs scored, an RBI, a few doubles sprinkled in. Matt Olson, whatever problems he had with that hand and it breaking while the A's were playing baseball in Japan in March, he appears to be over it. He's hit 4 home runs on the season. Now, I know compared to other players, that's not a lot. But again, he hadn't played a lot, right? He's only played like 10 games, and he's got 4 home runs. So keep your eye on Matt Olson. Keep your eye on Jesus Lizardo, and keep your eyes on those swinging A's. I want to ask you, speaking of players to keep your eye on, which rookie that came up in the last 2 weeks has really caught your attention the most? Okay, has it been Keston Hiura? For me, it's been Austin Riley. Austin Riley, power hitter at AAA in 2018, power hitter at AAA in 2019. The Braves call him up after Ender Inciarte has an injury, and he's been on fire. I mean, literally on fire. He has a 367 average over the season. In the 8 games he has played, he has hit 4 home runs in those games with 9 RBIs and 7 runs scored. They've been on the road in pitcher-friendly San Francisco. And so, to me, Austin Riley is a no-brainer. I can't imagine he's not been picked up in leagues. But of all the rookies who have been called up, he's my pick to click. He could be Rookie of the Year in the National League, and he's hitting in a Braves lineup. They're going to have people on base. He's going to get RBI opportunity. He's going to get protection batting in the lineup. So what's not to love about Austin Riley? Go get me some Austin Riley. Yeah, that's right, if you haven't already, because Austin Riley is going to be a force in years to come, but he's going to be a force in 2019. Oh, yeah. So let's keep our eye on Austin Riley, how he progresses. I told you a little over 2 weeks ago to add him. He was a must-add. I told you on a Tuesday show his call was imminent, and he was called up 2 days later. I was right, okay? So let's keep our eye on that guy. He's going to be a star. What's wrong with J.D. Martinez in Boston? Sitting out again today. Back problems. I don't know. But, of course, Boston wins in extra innings last night on a home run by Chavez. But they need J.D. Martinez in that lineup. I looked at their order today. Of course, they played this afternoon. And again, I told you we'll get to the afternoon games near the end of the show. But their batting order today was Chavez leading off and playing first base. Wow. Mookie Betts DHing. Xander Bogaerts at short. Devers was at third. Pierce in left. Benintendi dropped to 6th in the order and playing center field. Christian Vasquez was batting 7th and catching. Nunez playing 2nd, and Jackie Bradley Jr. was batting 9th and playing center field, right field. So, that bat is critical, but look at the difference in the Boston lineup. Now, you've got Chavez leading off. You've got Devers batting cleanup. You've got Benintendi dropped down to 6th. Of course, the Red Sox seem to be turning it around, and we'll see how it holds up for them going forward. I tell you another player that turned it around, how about Byron Buxton? I mean, he's played in his last 11 games. His 8 of his last 11, he hit 400. Over his last 3 straight starts, he hadn't got a hit. But Buxton has really been a revelation and a turnaround this year, and he's no longer the butt of jokes, right? He's hitting .262. He's scored 25 runs. He's hit 20 doubles, 4 home runs, 24 RBIs, 8 stolen bases. He's in a great lineup. The Twins are going to win a lot of games, and the Twins are going to score a lot of runs. And so I look for Buxton's numbers to just get better and better as more games are played. Now, you guys know there's one rookie or prospect that I've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 weeks who we have not seen yet in the major leagues. And it's current Round Rock Express outfielder first baseman Jordan Alvarez, soon to be, in my opinion, Houston Astros star Jordan Alvarez. Okay, let's take a look on the farm, if you will, at how Jordan Alvarez is doing. You're going to be impressed by this. So last night, the Round Rocks won 4-0. And when you're winning 4-0 in the AAA league they're in, that's some pretty good pitching. Wow. But focusing in on Alvarez,